What is going on, or welcome to News with Block. I am sure a lot of you are licking some wounds, and duly so. That has been a bloody weekend. Well, it's the 6th of December, and here we are going to talk about the crypto news, what's been going on with the market, and let's have a look to see if there's a couple of secret moonshots out there. But first of all, before we dive into anything, assuming that you've given us a like and a subscribe, which I'm sure you guys have, we want to talk about who's sponsoring the video today. And that is Mizar, a all-in-one smart trade platform that covers everything from automated trading from DCA bots to simple swing bots, copy trading to follow some of your most inspired and favorite providers, and also the classic smart trade platform with a lot of exciting features jam-packed with the kind of tools that are going to turn your portfolios into absolute Goliaths. But anyway, guys, so let's have a look to see what's been going on in the market today. And of course, in at number one, although not surprisingly so given the weekend that it had, is Bitcoin, coming in at a price of 48,904. That's right, you heard me, sub 50k. Today, though, has been pretty good with a rise of 1.96%, although the week has seen a drop in 14.43%, which is huge for Bitcoin. The market cap has also sunk below $1 trillion and is now sitting at $920 billion. Ethereum in at number two at 4,123. Again, with a surprising rise today of 1.43%, but a weak drop of 4.87%. Current market cap under 500 billion at 484 billion. BNB coin is sitting at $570.49. Comparatively, not a massive drop, with a current price rise of 4.19% today alone, and also a weak drop of 7.84%. USDT at number 4, Solana at number 5, Cardano at number 6, USDC at number 7, XRP at number 8, Polkadot at number 9. Luna has actually jumped up and taken over Doge at number 10. That's pretty cool news. So some of the biggest gainers today, let's have a quick look. Over the past 24 hours, we've seen BitTorrent jumping up to the number one gainer at 17.72%, and this has something to do with the mainnet news being announced. I think it's on the 12th when that's released. So keep an eye on that. I wouldn't jump straight in, though, because that sounds like a bit of a pump, and it's probably on a retracement just now. So first on the macro news today, Binance will apply for a UK license despite its local regulatory issues. According to ZZ, Binance aims to become a registered cryptocurrency company in the UK in the next 6 to 18 months. As you can probably tell by my accent, that's where I'm based, and that is great news to me. I can't wait for more of these exchanges to become more regulated and more, just seen in a better light amongst all of the governments and regulations. So that's fantastic news, and hopefully the Financial Conduct Authority can grant them a license within the UK. So fingers crossed for ZZ and Binance there. Next up, more news from Binance. Binance Smart Chain and Animoca Brands form a $200 million fund for GameFi projects. BSC-based projects will get a chance to gain insight from Animoca Brands and assistance from the BSC community. Binance Smart Chain and Animoca Brands are launching a $200 million investment program to incubate early cryptocurrency-focused gaming projects building on the BSC Smart Chain. BSC and Animoca announced on Monday that they are co-investing up to $100 million each to support game projects in this GameFi sector. As we all know, as we saw with AXS and, accompanying that SLP, have just absolutely boomed. Not to mention things like the smaller brands like Blockchain Monsters and also Wilder World have all gone just incredible gains. So I think it is very worthwhile following projects that are going to be launched and partnered with the BSC Smart Chain, as we could see some quite parabolic rises, as we've seen relatively organic growth within this sector anyway. So I believe it's kind of quite a new moniker, which is IGO's initial game offerings. So that's the new thing. So check those out. Again, on more macro news, we've got major Indian bank breaks banking ban with Wazir X crypto exchange deal. So whilst we don't want to kind of get too involved with the whole Indian crypto decision, whether they're going to go for it, whether they're not going to go for it, and all of these muddled news sources as well, one thing which I do find quite interesting about this, reason why I wanted to bring it up, was when we see the prominent banks or the leading banks really in any kind of market partner with crypto or anything of that nature, banks have a strong amount of influence over governments, to a degree, obviously, governments on, you know, I know this is probably an unpopular decision, but they aren't all filled with Disney villains. Not all of them. There is some kind of hope there and some kind of democracy amongst how decisions are come to be. However, it is not unsurprising that banks and large financial institutions will have some sway. So, with a kind of leading bank, partnering with WazirX. So, to go a little bit deeper into it, Kotak, India's leading private bank, has reportedly become the first to open its gates to the crypto community per a report published in the Economic Times. The banking giant announced it has partnered with the leading crypto exchange WazirX, which would allow traders to use the banking services to liquidate their funds. The partnership between the two partners is being seen as a major breakthrough for the crypto community, given Indian banks have frozen crypto payments and withdrawals for the past 8 months. So I think that's big moves. Given the fact that just around the corner we could potentially see a crypto ban, I think this is a bit of an insight into what the bank or banks may be feeling about it. So all in all, relatively bullish. Unfortunately, now we have to get to the bearish news. Bitmart, as we may have heard over the weekend, I'm not going to cover the big hack that we've seen of $200 million, which sucks. And, we could see that this was the initial trigger for this massive Bitcoin dump. Um, as we know that $200 million probably isn't the largest amount in the Bitcoin world. However, what it can initiate is the liquidation of longs, and this can end up with a downward spiral effect, which I think, has been a massive cause or at least a massive catalyst to what we've seen during this huge dump. However, pretty good moves from Bitmart CEO as he confirms the repayment of lost funds to resume services from the 7th of December or tomorrow. And that's a pretty cool thing, as any trader, certainly during these trying times, if you will, after any major dump, a lot of people get caught on the wrong end of it. And the last thing you need on top of that is have a hack and have all of your funds removed. Of course, it sucks a lot for them because they can't buy the dip as quickly as they may have wanted. However, I think this is great moves from the Bitmart CEO. And to quote the team, we have identified a large-scale security breach related to one of our ETH hot wallets and one of our BSC hot wallets today. At this moment, we are still concluding the possible methods used. Hackers were able to withdraw assets to the value of approximately 150 million USD. Now, this has later been confirmed at 200 million, although, again, I think that's pretty good news from Bitmart CEO. So let's have a look at some of the other Bitcoin news today. Bitcoin whales move fresh coins to exchanges in repeat of behavior before 42K BTC price dip. Now, this is not the on-chain news that you really want to be hearing if you're hoping for a bounce. Usually there's no other reason why these whales move large amounts of funds onto the exchanges other than when they want to offload it or sell it. So please be prepared that we might be seeing a further dump back down to 42K from where we are at the moment. Of course, this is not confirmation, but whilst history doesn't repeat itself, it often rhymes, and we're certainly hearing a very similar rhyme right now. So let's have a look into the Bitcoin price right now. This is looking very different from my previous charts, as I'm just looking at more of a macro look or a longer term look at Bitcoin and what it's doing. So as you can see with all of these nice big yellow patterns, they all mean something. Of course, we've got our trend lines going up and our supports here as well. But ultimately, what I'm going to do to put this into a bit of a nutshell is I'm a little bit fearful that we're seeing a big head and shoulders forming, as you can follow my mouse just here. And currently, we have tested down here on this support between about 42K and potentially as far down as 37.7K. Whilst that wick did test that, we've seemed to have found a little bit of support right back up here at around about 48,830, and I would say arguably down to 47,100. I'd say anything within that zone or holding above it is relatively safe to say that we're going to stay within this leg. Should we break down below that, then I think we have every chance to see around about that 42K area again. Unfortunately, I am not bearish by any means, but just following the general pattern, the sentiment of the market, and certainly some of the on-chain data as well, I do feel like we're probably going to lose this support and we're probably going to track back down to test 42K again. As you can see in this days gone by of 26th of September, a very similar thing happened and we kind of bounced back up. But then, we bounced back up, but then we lost it again. So just be wary of that. Should we not, then we could climb up as far as 53 to 54k, which is coming into very heavy resistance. This is looking at some very strong resistance to get through. Not only that, but the underside of a trend line. There's quite a lot of sell pressure there that's going to be there as well. But realistically, I think we are going to go down to 42k, probably not consolidate per se, but bounce around this range between 42k all the way up to 48k, potentially before breaking out and then again testing up to this 54k region, which to me would be the top of the right shoulder. And that's probably a deal breaker where we could see a tremendous rejection back down to all the way potentially as far as 30k. I know it sounds like a bit of an ominous number right now. However, just be prepared, because if we're to zoom out a little bit further, we saw quite a similar thing happen here right before we went on this huge run up to just under 70k, in that we popped right down and we just couldn't hold. We see a bit of a head and shoulders just here, and we just couldn't hold, and we went right back down, and we tested all the way down to this 30k region here. Which is where we might be looking at supports, might not. But again, yep, we could go back down as far as this. Let's hope that 42k holds. I think that would be the best news for everyone. If not, make sure you get your buys set around about 40 to 42k and a potential moonshot buy at 30k as well. But enough on Bitcoin. Let's just all pray for the bulls to come in hard, Amazon to start taking payment, or Google, or Apple, or eBay, or whatever. Some of them, PayPal to launch across all of Europe and all of Asia. There we go. That should bring it back up to 60k. So on some lighter news, Alpha Finance Labs have announced that they have got their mainnet dropping on the 8th of December. As we know, with all mainnets, they have a usually very positive impact on the price. So let's have a very quick look at the chart. So no surprise that everything far and wide across the entire crypto market has been affected by this Bitcoin crash, and we have seen some major dumps across the board. Alpha is no exception, but one bonus here is it's very, very good looking chart, in that we can now see that there's a very, very obvious area for accumulation from the current price all the way as far down, which is sitting at currently 73 cents, all the way down to 31 cents down here, which is where I'd look to accumulate. And we have a hell of a lot of headroom up to the old all-time high of 302%. Where would I start to take some profits? Well, I'll take my first take profit at $1.07. Next one at $1.27. Next one at $1.51. And then there'll be a pretty big jump, as it seems like relatively low liquidity, all the way going up to $2.51. And then, of course, always take some profit at the all-time high, which is just under $3. Whilst I'm saying this mainnet may not take it up there, I'm saying that it should certainly get you some other way. So you could see a relatively conservative 100% from this project. Keep an eye on it. Next on the docket, we have Nulls. So Nulls Network has just announced the first NFT marketplace on Nulls mainnet. NFT Circle is now launched. Trade NFTs on Nulls at this link just here, #DeFi, #NTS, #GameFi, and much, much more. So Nulls, NFTs, mainnets, all great news. Let's have a quick look at the chart now to see what that means. And you can see it has had an instant impact. Now, potentially this whole massive pump just here could have been people who may have caught wind of it earlier. It could have been a pump and dump, who knows? But certainly this candle just here has definitely had a bit of effect caused from that news. Let's go down into a slightly lower time frame so we can see what's coming along. Now, this is a relatively intimidating chart for, I think, a lot of people, as we've just spiked so far beyond the previous all-time highs. And now we're in this kind of territory of just finding new levels, new support. So, yep, whilst I would say this is probably going to continue to go up, we'll probably get some consolidation down and around this area. I don't feel we're going to end up getting back below this 71 cents area. I think it's going to be quite a slow burn here. It really depends how kind of much of effect that NFT marketplace takes on it. But as we've seen with all NFT marketplaces, they generally have quite a positive effect. So we have a decent amount of headroom up to 112%. However, if you can be a bit smarter with your accumulation and kind of get the majority of it down here, that dramatically jumps up to 160%. So where am I? Where are we at the moment with Nulls? Well, the price is currently sitting at 94 cents. I would look to accumulate around down to about 72 cents. We're taking my first said take profits at $1.26. Then again, you'd have to be looking a little bit more mid-range as we don't have a great deal to go on outside of this massive candle up here. Sure, you can bang in a Fibonacci. Oh, no, that's a lie. Scroll out, Christian. There we go. Look at the forest, not at the tree, as we can clearly see. However, it looks like that take profit line is sitting pretty nice around about there. I've lowered that just a touch to about this level. And to me, that looks quite nice. Get it on the 1 day again. So there we go. Okay, right. So this is what I would be looking at for right now. I'd be looking at it at, with the current price sitting at around about 95 cents, accumulate down to about as far as 70 cents, with our first take profit sitting at $1.27, next one at $1.55, and then finally it is sat there at $2, but pop it just a little bit below, just around about $1.99. Be one of those cheeky profit takers there. And that should hopefully pump. You know, what we are facing at the moment is everything right now in the market is on sale. So really do take advantage of that. Hopefully you do have your reserves and your portfolio allocations all quite sensibly put to one side and enough money to one side to be accumulating well. Some of these better projects anyway. Did want to shine a light on Elrond or EGLD ticker. There's so much being released for that at the moment from the Mayor app, new features, all coming out on the 31st of December or before. Not to mention there is a whole bunch more coming out in March. You know, eGold interface integrates GFX, staking phase 4, on-chain governance. But the more things that I'm most interested in is this DeFi 2.0 launch and the Mayor launchpad as well. Some pretty interesting projects there. And if we have a look at the actual chart itself, not a great deal has gone, and it is in, like I said, everything is pretty much on sale at the moment. So as we can see, it has kind of really taken off, unsurprisingly, because it's a great project. But we are currently sat at $279, sorry. And there is a major amount of buy support just sat at 234 or 240, let's say. So we are kind of looking at a pretty good range for consolidation. You could be quite tight range if you want, but you want to have a look at accumulating somewhere between where we are at the moment, which is sat at $280, all the way down to around about $194, maybe $200. Anything below that, then we're looking at a serious market crash. But like I said, anywhere around there, and we've got quite a decent amount of headroom to take some nice profits, up to almost 100%. So where do we want to be taking profit? Well, my first TP would be sat at around about $341, then again at around about $410, maybe probably to be safe, $492, which is just below that $500 psychological resistance, and the all-time high is at $542. It can and probably will go beyond this, potentially in this bull cycle as well. But like I said, keep an eye on this, guys, because we've got some massive stuff launching this coming month as well, which is going to spike the price inevitably, and again in March. So a lot of people will be accumulating now, and you know, it's in. Look at this; it's all the way down here. It's a great price to be picking up. There's more of something to keep an eye on, guys. If you do have particularly big bags of sushi, Sushi Swap CTO threatens to quit as infighting escalates. This is never a good thing to come to the public eye, because when there is a lack of confidence within the actual internal team, that can lead to a lot of confidence falling out of favor from many VCs or big institutions, and looking very quickly to other projects. So the last thing we want to see is this start to really take its home and see the price absolutely crash. So a quick take on this is former Sushi Swap team members are alleging that one key developer was kicked out of the project, causing others to follow in his wake. Due to the mudslinging, Sushi Swap CTO Joseph DeLong has threatened to quit unless the current team gets more support. Really not what you want to see in any kind of project that you're heavily invested in. We have no idea if the price has been affected, because realistically everything has dumped pretty hard. That being said, sushi is a great project. It does have the whole sushi swap entity behind it, and that really probably isn't going to go away because of some tussles inside the team. I just think more from a immediate short term moment. This is something to keep an eye on, but it does also mean that the price could end up going even further down. So look to accumulate because this will definitely come back up. Well, there's no definites, no guarantees in crypto, obviously, but yeah, like I said, you can really start to look to accumulate from about now, which is sat at $5.24, all the way as far down to, should my mouse want to work? Maybe not that far. Um, Maybe down to around about $3, I'd say, is a very nice area to accumulate down to. But when we start to look at the headroom above it, it's just amazing. Absolutely amazing. So much potential profit here. So from one of these massive projects like sushi, we're 333% down from the all-time high. And we're not in a particularly bad place, to be honest. Like I said, FUD like this, I generally look as a fantastic opportunity to get in there and to isolate a good lower price to buy at. So you can start to take profits at. Oopsie daisy, got my trend line on there. We don't want that, do we? So take profits at around about $8.47, then again at about $13.39, and then again at around about $16.11, and then it's a big ride all the way up to around about the all-time high region of around about $22. So yeah, guys, I mean, we're currently sat at around about $5.24 at the moment. We could accumulate down as far as about $3, and we have a potential upside of about $20 plus. So keep that in mind. Anyway, guys, I know it's a bit of a bit of a bloody weekend that we've just dealt with, and so it's very hard to keep your optimism up. But just remember, don't panic sell. Make sure that for future, if you haven't done already, make sure you've got stablecoin cash reserves in order to buy a lot of these dips. Don't look at it like a crash. Look at it like everything's on sale and a better price. We all know that money's going to be flooding into crypto. We all know that. We all know at some point Bitcoin's going to go to 100K. So don't panic sell. Remember, guys, good things come to those who wait. Great things come to those who hodl.